Everybody, so this is step one of this three-part series on how to get that property that you're looking for in this really competitive seller's market. And the first step, I think, is the most important one, and that's when we have our buyer consultation. And essentially what that is, that's when we sit down and you tell me, or you tell one of our agents exactly what your motivation is, why you think this is the right time for you to buy now, what's really underneath of your motivation to get through all of this right now. That's going to drive you forward. It's important that we know that so we can remind you of that along the way. And after we discover that and you share that with us, we're going to go into your needs. Exactly what do you need in a property? We go into bedrooms, bathrooms, yard, all the specifics of a house. And that's where we start when we start looking at specific properties. Then we go over your wish list, the things that you would love to have. They might not be necessary, but they're your wish list, they're your want list. Okay. Then we're going to go over your time frame. Based on maybe you have a lease or you're in a lease. That lease doesn't expire for another 60 days, but if you don't find a house within 60 days, it's going to renew. Or maybe you're living with family and you can move anytime. Or maybe your house is under contract and you want to get into that next house very quickly, otherwise you have to pay a lot of capital gains on the equity and the profit that you make from the sale of the previous property. So whatever your personal circumstances are, we need to know that time frame so that we can, we can put a practical course of action for you to follow so that you can have success. All right. Resources obviously are very important too. That's going to detail how many of those wants and needs you can actually get. So we'll go over your credit, we'll go over your income, we'll go over your savings, or if you're going to get help from a family member in order to get the property. And that way, after we've gotten all that information from you, we can put together, like I said before, that practical course of action that you can follow one step at a time so that you can have the success that you need and not waste any of your time in order to get you into that house that you want. And I believe that the more thorough we are in this step, the easier the entire process is going to be. This is similar to you sitting down with your doctor and just telling them exactly what's wrong with you so they can give you the right diagnosis. If you don't give them all the information that you need, they're not going to be able to give you the treatment that you're looking for. I'm obviously not comparing myself to a doctor, but the process is very similar. So if you don't tell me, that you have some damages in your credit, or that you have more money than you think you have, or that you have a little bit more time than you think you have, then the entire process is going to be upended and it'll be sloppy. But if we're able to really get down and be honest about your motivation, about your resources, about your needs and your wants and your location and the time that you have to do all this in, then we're able to have success. So we have to be really thorough in this step so that we have success all throughout the process and finally get you that property that you need. Now, we can put a link. Yeah, we can put a link here, or I can send you our buyer consultation. What that'll do is allow you to put some of your thoughts onto paper. You get a little bit more clarity of some of the things that you're thinking, and you start to create a vision for where you want to go and when you want to be there. And that's whether or not you're looking to do this year or 3 years from now. It doesn't really matter. It's a helpful tool, and we can go over it with you, answer any questions that you have, just to be of assistance, when the time is right for you to buy. So that's the buyer consult. That's step one. That's the most important component. And next step two is coming right up after this.